What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to talk about The Conjuring in this video here today. The Conjuring 4, aka The Conjuring Last Rites. So we have our first set of plot details for The Conjuring 4 thanks to a public casting call. You have an idea of some of the characters, and going off of what is made publicly accessible, we have an idea of what we can expect to go on in the film and what story I think they might be basing this off of. So, the conclusion to the Conjuring series, starring Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, is set in the 1980s in America, based on a true story, as all of them are. And then here are our characters. You have Hazel, Donna, Carly, Jane, Grandma, Grandpa, and Father Jansen. There might be a few others that I'm missing from what I was able to, again, publicly access. And it's just, again, a family being haunted. But there's a source of this haunting, like there always is, that is fairly interesting and started to let me think of what case this could be, especially because there was also the mention of a dog. So we have a 14-year-old girl named Hazel who seemingly is the lead amongst these group of relatives in this location. Some of them are her sister, actually, from what I gathered. Anyway, Hazel is gifted this ancient mirror for her birthday. And this mirror is what acts as the source of our hauntings for this upcoming final chapter. Her grandparents figured it'd be like some nice gift to get Hazel so she doesn't have to always share a space with her siblings. And then the family seems to be very religious, saying grace at dinner and everything like that, going to church. And this leads to some friction at one point during the story, because while some want to wait and trust the church's process when shit hits the fan, others are like, we need to do something now because the haunted house shit is legit and it's not a joke. They don't want to wait. And I'm assuming this lack of waiting, being impatient, is what leads to the family seeking out Ed and Lorrain Warren's help. This entity even messes up Hazel's baptism ceremony at one point during the film. In fact, it gets so bad that the sisters try to dispose of the mirror. Now, based on the fact that this family apparently has a dog and a mirror, it appears The Conjuring Last Rites is tackling the Smurl family haunting. That's what I'm predicting so far based off of what I've gathered. Just from the brief research I did, it looks like this haunting went beyond the family's home and they ended up in some sort of campground scenario, and this seems to have been quite the challenging case for the Warrens to resolve. Now, this sounds like, if the case indeed was something that was quite a challenge for the Warrens, it seemingly lines up with what you would expect for a final chapter movie in a series like this, in which the usual heroes have their backs against the wall, and I'm assuming ultimately, of course, they would get the job done. They would be able to help these people, but seeing them in a position where it hasn't been this difficult and in any of the other three movies that we've seen would be a refreshing change of pace. Obviously, you plant that seed of doubt that maybe the Warrens are not going to be able to help this family. Like I stated, they probably ultimately are. But going off the research I dug up, it would appear that the Warrens, again, had quite the challenge on their hands when it came to resolving whatever the hell was going on. I think some of the research I dug up didn't even involve them resolving it. I could be wrong. I just did like brief glances over this stuff. It wasn't anything too in-depth. But I could see this being a suitable platform, or suitable, I don't know what word I want to use here, a suitable backdrop for a final chapter in this series, I would say, in which the Warrens have their backs against the wall. You have another well-rounded family that we all can be invested in, like the first family in the original film. And we can all root for them to beat this demon or whatever is going on. From what I saw in these slides, everything looks like it is going to be reliant on jump scares at times, which is typical for the Conjuring franchise. But I will say that, of course, the Conjuring, when it comes to the main films, I feel, especially those first two, they've earned their jump scare moments. So I would hope going into the fourth one, you don't just have cheap jump scares for the sake of being there, and that the jump scares actually feel earned, warranted, and help push the narrative forward and aren't just there for a cheap gimmick. But the only other thing we now know officially about The Conjuring Last Rites is that it's supposed to start filming sometime this summer, and with a casting call now being made public, this leads me to think that they might start shooting at the end of August, maybe sometime mid-August, and I think it's also supposed to be shooting in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll start hearing more things about this film sooner rather than later, of course. But those are some of our first plot details that we now have for The Conjuring Last Rites. I just wanted to do a quick video on that and dip out here and go watch Monday Night Raw. What do you guys think about this? Let me know all of that down in the comment section below. Are you looking forward to The Conjuring Last Rites? Why or why not? Do you really not care? Also, I guess it is important to possibly also ponder on this. How could this movie set up whatever we get in the upcoming TV show, which we know is still in development because we just learned that from one of the Max representatives. We know that TV show is still in development, so maybe this film will possibly tie into the TV show that we get. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there's any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.